Inside any planning office in a growing capital city, you will find mountains of paper. These towering stacks represent the massive volume of demographic data collected by registration officers every single day. It is tempting to look at all these forms and assume the heavy lifting is finished, that the government can immediately use these raw numbers to decide where to lay the bricks for a new school or a medical clinic. Without a rigorous quality assurance process to verify every form, the people represented in these files remain legally invisible to the state. When a government relies on unchecked information, broad goals like the African Agenda 2063 vision of total social inclusiveness start to fracture. Resources get routed to the wrong districts, and essential infrastructure is built miles away from the communities that desperately need it. Empowering a nation requires a civil registration and vital statistics system to audit its data against 4 strict performance metrics. The first metric is completeness. Officials often look at a map full of local registry outposts and assume that because the government is physically present, they are counting everyone. This map shows us geographic coverage, having an office physically available in every district. However, look at the data overlay. In reality, only half of the population in this area is actually registering births. If families are giving birth at home and have no reason to interact with the local registry, the dataset misses them entirely. The geographic coverage is perfect, but the statistical picture is broken. This equation finds the true completeness rate by dividing the total number of registered events by the estimated actual vital events occurring in that population over a specific time. A building on a map does not equal a counted citizen. If someone is excluded from the math, the state cannot plan for their future. That brings us to the second metric, accuracy. If we pull just one individual file from the stack, we have to ask whether the details written on it are actually correct. Qualitative errors happen constantly. An informant might misunderstand a question, an interviewer might write down the wrong age, or a cause of death might be vaguely classified. Multiplied by millions, these small clerical mistakes warp national health statistics. Catching these errors requires continuous internal audits. Regional offices must run routine data quality checks, and the registration staff themselves need specific training on exactly how to record complex variables. Once a record is scrubbed of errors, it stops being a localized anecdote and becomes a sturdy, reliable block for building national policy. Next is timeliness. It is entirely normal for officials to get frustrated by how long it takes to process and finalize these vital statistics. This timeline shows the standard processing window. A lag of up to 2 years is an acceptable and necessary part of the process, leaving room to process delayed registrations and incorporate forensic investigations into cause of death data. However, if the system stalls beyond that window, the data goes stale. By the time the statistics are published, the demographic reality on the ground has already moved on. Data has a strict expiration date. The drive for mathematical precision has to be weighed against the immediate speed required to govern effectively. The final metric is availability. You can have the most accurate, complete, and timely dataset in the world, but it remains useless if it stays locked in a statistician's filing cabinet. Quality vital statistics need to be disseminated across multiple media formats, print, electronic, and web databases. They also must include metadata, which is simply the underlying documentation that explains how the data was collected and defines the terms used. Clear formatting and detailed metadata give policymakers, journalists, and everyday citizens the tools they need to correctly interpret the numbers and advocate for their own communities. Information sitting in a silo has no intrinsic value. Its worth is determined by how easily society can access and apply it. Quality assurance serves as the daily, active bridge connecting a single local event to a sweeping national strategy. This chart illustrates the life cycle of a vital record. Notice the bottom arrow. Quality management must span across both civil registration and national statistics. When these domains operate in lockstep, the registration office smoothly transmits clean data to the statistics office, building public trust. And the result of that trust moves far beyond paperwork. It looks like a new medical clinic opening its doors, built right where it is needed because the data accurately pinpointed a growing population. Rigorous quality assurance is the mechanism that proves a government is paying attention. Behind every verified statistic is a human being who is finally visible, recognized, and planned for.